I
Have you ever had a not go to one? Because
I have chosen to go to one where homosexuality wasn't Botswana.
oh,
In a quarter mile, turn left to stay on Vermont 180 North.
17. Homosexuality is legal there now as of 2019, but 2017. Yeah. 2017 it was not. So like that was actually my first year at World's Strongest Man. So typically the World's Strongest Man invite comes like via email. It's like congratulations, you've qualified. Mine came from a phone call from lawyers at IMG, and they were like, "Hey Rob, so here's the situation.
Take the next left to stay on Vermont 180 North.
Um, we want you to be one of the athletes at World's Strongest Man this year. However, it is being held in Botswana, and as of right now, homosexuality is illegal. The way the
Continue on Vermont 118 North for 5 miles.
is you can only be persecuted if found performing quote-unquote unnatural acts. So they were like, we're going to leave it up to you. If you don't want to come, we'll hold your spot for next year, but it's up to you. So my husband and I went back and forth on like, what do we do?
right.
This is a huge moment. This is the first time an openly gay man's going to be competing at World's Strongest Man. So how do we navigate this? And ultimately we decided for me to go, he would stay home just for pure safety. And like, no lie, I think it was about 2 weeks before I flew out, sure as shit, somebody sent me an article about 2 men that were thrown in jail for 7 years for holding hands in public in Botswana, where I was going 2 weeks later. I don't know. I mean, I would hope so. But like that's something that I have to think about because that was an unnatural act.
Holding hands. What about shaking hands? That's okay.
No, that's not
Weird.
weird. Yeah, right. How long
Shaking hands.
do you make eye
You
contact?
can shake hands, but you can't walk with them.
No.
Isn't
Can't
that odd?
Yeah.
That is such a strange thing. Just think about that. Because everyone shakes hands.
Yeah.
Everyone. You shake hands with people you don't even know.
Yep.
But if you hold onto that hand with someone you do know and you go for a walk,
It's not okay.
people will get really upset at you.
Yeah.
How fucking weird is that?
Right?
Because it's not like kissing. Like,
No.
men don't kiss men on the lips when they see each other. So if two guys see two guys kissing in public, it's like, whoa, I've seen that before.
Yeah.
But everybody's seen guys shake hands.
Nothing weird about it.
But holding on to that hand can be a real issue.
That makes it awkward. So yeah, so it's like, I've been invited to compete in some Middle Eastern countries. Like I was in Bahrain back in March. Fortunately, LGBT laws there are pretty relaxed. But like that's the thing that I have to do every time I travel to these countries. I literally have to see like, okay, like what are the laws surrounding me being there?
Here's a little kind of weird side thing. Do you remember when Bush was in office? He had like very close relationships with the Saudis. And
Yeah.
one of the things the Saudis do is they do hold hands when they walk.
Yeah.
So there was photos of George Bush holding hands with this Saudi royal guy while they were walking.
But
Look at this.
yeah,
He
but
had to follow his rules.
in Saudi Arabia, I am illegal there. Like I can't
Are they
exist.
kissing on the lips? What was that? Holding hands, little kiss.
Yeah, so it's just like it's so funny. So like that's okay, but me being an openly gay man, I cannot exist in their space.
Well, what's weird is we're talking about these Islamic countries. My friends that have served and have been deployed overseas say there's so much undercover homosexuality in these countries, and a lot of it with underage boys.
Yep.
That's like the thing that they were told they had to look away from. Like when they had these encounters with people who were either translators or informants or people who were working alongside with them, occasionally they would have scenarios where these guys were abusing young boys and they weren't allowed to say anything about it.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and they were told he was over-emotional.
Damn.
And so these guys were over going, what? So here you have this culture that the ideology is openly homophobic,
Yeah.
openly anti-gay, yet
Behind
you have
closed doors.
all these guys that are having sex with women. Like I remember I was having this conversation with someone and they were talking about how tolerant Iran is. And I was like, in what way? Like Iran has like some of the highest levels of trans people in the Muslim world. I go, yeah, but do you know why? It's because being gay is illegal.
Yeah.
So So the only way these guys can be with their partner is if one of them transitions.
It's so fucked up.
Which is crazy.
So fucked up.
So this is the loophole that they're given. Like, yes, you are allowed to be with this person, but one of you motherfuckers has to decide who the girl is.
That's crazy. I mean, it's countries like Dubai where it's like, yes, it is technically illegal to be gay there, but it's also not persecuted.
Okay, so it's like weed in Austin.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I know, like, we were going to be going there for a contest, but I ended up not being able to go. And they were like, oh, like you can't show affection in public, like you can't, hold hands, you can't kiss, anything like that. But that's kind of standard across the board for straight or gay people, right? In a country like that.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of that. Like in Dubai, you get caught like making out with a woman on the beach.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you get in trouble. When you went to Botswana, were you allowed to wear your tights? The same, or did you tone it down?
You did.
Oh yeah, big smile. You fucking rebel.
Yeah, it was like a little fuck you, like a subtle fuck you.
Yeah.
I've kind of made it a point, like that was my break into the highest level of this sport, which is why I kind of took advantage of going to World's Strongest Man. But now I'm a little stronger in my convictions, whereas like if a contest is being held in Saudi or any of these other countries, I would absolutely turn it down. Be like, no man, like if you're gonna hold a contest in a country that openly, kind of hates who I am as a person,
Right.
then I'm not gonna compete with you.
Well, also now you're a known person, so
Yeah.
you're holding a.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Vermont 105 west of Vermont 118 north.
Yeah, exactly. Back in 2017, before I'd ever competed, I didn't. Now, pretty decent following online. Should I get to sit here and talk to you, and people, kind of know who I am.
Yeah.
So,
Take the next left onto Vermont 105 west, Vermont 118 north.
I would hope that my voice has a little bit of weight behind it.
Well, and plus in that world you're very successful, so in that world you're known even more.
Yeah.
So you kind of have a responsibility. I get it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just wild that here we are in 2021, and you've got countries that
Continue for 5 miles.
we saw the video clip earlier, and in China I think they have a similar attitude, don't they?
Yeah, I forget back statistic, but I think it's like anywhere between 15 and 17 countries worldwide. It's still legal. It's still legal to be murdered or killed because you're gay.
And do all these countries share a religion, or are they varied?
Most of them are like Islamic. I know, like in Russia, it's actually written like if a random hate person just like meets a gay person to death on the street, they will be charged with murder.
In Russia.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Do not want Russians green light to meet anyone.
No, dude, one of the guys I'm competing against this weekend's Russian. Yeah, he's pretty cool, dude, though.
Well, I gotta imagine they're exposed to the internet now, right? So they're exposed to a broader range of human beings and more discussions about things.
Yeah.
People get a better sense of that this is just part of life.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily like accepted, but it's more tolerated. Which is shitty to think that. Like, oh, at least I'll be tolerated in this country.
It's going to be looked down upon in the future, and like when people do, whether it's 100 years from now, whatever it is, when there's none of that left, they're going to be looking back on it the same way we look at slavery, the same way we look at all sorts of horrific things that people have done to them, the same way we look at the way women were treated before they were even allowed to vote. We're going to look back on it and go, what the fuck were they thinking?
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
I mean, that's like with the slavery, like segregation thing. Like people tend to think that like that was so long ago.
It's going on right now in
40,
Libya.
50 years. No, here in the U.S. even.
Right.
20, 50 years ago only. Like it's not.
Well, it's arguable it's still going on right now if you consider these people that are incarcerated that shouldn't be, and that are innocent. There's a lot of people in prison right now that are incarcerated for nonviolent drug offenses, and essentially using them as batteries to generate money.
Yep.
When you think
It's
about
disgusting.
a private prison system, when they put people into these jail cells, and you know that prison union, like workers, like the guards, lobbyists, what they do is prison guards, at least they were for a while, they were lobbying to make some drug laws to keep police,
crazy.
yeah, police unions did it. Prisons, they lobbied to make sure that certain drug laws were kept in place because that would guarantee revenue. Because as soon as you make things valuable, you can make money off of imprisoning people. I mean, you've seen
It's just
this.
crazy.
The statistics on imprisonment in America are so nuts. When you look at our prisons and our prison population in comparison to the rest of the world, I think only China has similar numbers to ours.
That's wild.
But you can find what that is. I think I know it was outrageous, but I don't know what the numbers are. Like the comparison, the prison population in the United States versus the way people are imprisoned worldwide, like per capita.
Yeah.
I think we're off the charts.
Well, I think there was like a meme in it. It was said, like when dispensaries look like Apple stores, it's time to release those people that are being incarcerated for weed.
Yeah, Chuck D from Public Enemy had that on his Instagram today.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
like, come on, man.
There's people in jail for selling weed,
Yeah.
and then you can go to dispensaries in California. There's a place across the street from the Improv in Hollywood that looks like a fucking Apple store.
Dude, I go to the ones in Massachusetts. They're bougie as hell.
This guy across the street from the Improv, they give you a magnifying glass.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the weed.
They have like flashlights. You can inspect it. Look at the crystals. Like, it's crazy.
Okay, so here it is. Prison population of the United States is number one, bigger than China, and China has 8 billion people.
Wow.
So our prison population is, ready for this, 2,193,798. China, 1,548,498. China has more than 3 times the amount of people here.
And we have over 600,000 more people incarcerated.
Yeah, it's nuts. No, more than that. Look, I mean, this is the numbers are crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
600,000. And look at what it is per capita. Population per 100. This is where it's really nuts. 118 for China, 737 for 100,000 in America.
Wow.
That's fucking crazy. The jail occupancy. This is the thing. China's not available. The occupancy level is 107% in America. That means there's more people in those jail cells that are even supposed to be in there. Kenyan prisons have an occupancy level of 343,000. Or excuse me, 343%.
That's wild.
3 times overpopulated. It is wild. But if you get down to like England, when they have 80,000 people in prison, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Scotland, 6,000 people in prison. Northern Ireland, 1,000 people in prison. That's wild.
That's insane.
Yeah, and only 79 per 100,000.
2 million in the US.
It's crazy. And we're one of the places where, look at that unsentenced prisoners. Look at that shit.
21%.
Women prisoners only 8%. Those are keeping it together here. Yeah, it's fucked. So if you think about that, like you're, in America, slavery is kind of it's not legal to buy people,
No.
sell people, but it's
But you keep 'em
certainly
in jail.
legal to keep them in a cage.
Yep.
And keep them in a cage for things that arguably should be legal, like drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look at when states decriminalize or countries decriminalize, drugs. I think
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Orchard Street.
was a country that decriminalized all drug charges.
Yeah.
And they saw just massive drops in crime, like in everything.
Well, the really important thing is it stops organized crime. And
Yes.
that's a giant problem in Mexico. I mean, we are connected to Mexico, and Mexico's organized crime feeds off of our appetite, which is so fucked because by making things illegal here, we don't stop people from using drugs. They use the same
No.
amount of drugs. But we do, unfortunately,
Take the next right onto Orchard Street.
set it up where they're going to get tainted drugs. So these
That's
people,
like fentanyl-laced heroin and shit like that.
Yeah.
People are overdosing so quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane.
in this country,
Continue on Orchard Street for 3/4 of a mile.
it would be political suicide if you said we should legalize all drugs.
Oh yeah. I
It's so
think Oregon
fucked
did it though. I think Oregon just decriminalized everything.
Everything. Everything.
Fuck yeah.
Heroin, mushrooms, steroids, whatever you want to do. Like, go ahead.
Love it.
But meanwhile, it sucks up there.
It does.
It does. It sucks up there. I talked to a guy who said that, no, I didn't talk to a guy, I read this, who said he was talking about, he got his car done. He had some body work done on his car, and he said, I gotta tell you, these Antifa folks keep me in business. So he said he has been dealing with bullet holes. And that bullet holes in cars are so common up there that it's actually ramping up his business.
That's wild. I will say, like, Joey and I went to Portland for a weekend, and it was crazy walking around there just seeing the amount of homelessness. But what's crazy is the amount of people that choose to be homeless.
Right.
Right? Like they're laying in their tents with iPhones.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto Vermont 105 West.
White people. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
dirty white people.
But I'm
Probably
just like,
from rich families that want to be oppressed.
yeah,
That's the way they become
living on
oppressed.
my own.
I'm one of the unhoused here in Portland, and I want to say.
But like,
Take the next right onto Vermont 105 West.
man with an iPhone 13 in your tent.
It's just a weird thing that they have allowed so much fucking chaos up there. And people don't feel comfortable about their property and their home and whether or not they're safe walking down the street. And
It's insane.
yeah,
It's crazy.
but they're pretty open when
Continue on Vermont 105 West for 16 miles.
it comes to LGBTQ
They are.
issues.
I felt very safe there.
Isn't it funny? It's like when no one can get it right. There's not like one sweet spot. But I do have
No.
to say Austin is a pretty good sweet spot.
It is a pretty good sweet spot.
Pretty amazing place.
I mean, to be fair, not a huge fan of the whole state, but Austin
yeah.
has got it going on.
It's well, the whole state. So much of it is like really rural and ranches, and it's so old school.
Yeah, but then you have, the governor that just signed in this anti-trans athlete bill just this past week.
See, this anti-trans athlete thing is where we're probably disagreeing because I feel like the real issue is we don't have enough data to find out what's fair and what's not fair.
I agree.
Especially, look at you. Okay, if you decided to go into women's power, if you're the world's strongest woman, and you just decided to identify as a woman and enter into that, good fucking luck, ladies.
No, I agree, but there's also, this bill specifically here in Texas is for youth athletes, right? So, youth athletes in this state have to compete in the gender they're assigned at birth.
Okay.
So, let's take, for instance, there's a wrestler here in the state.
The girl that has
Yeah. She takes testosterone, has to compete against women.
That's
against girls.
bad. That's bad. That is bad. It's bad for her. It's bad for the other athletes, or it's bad for him. It's bad for the other athletes
Yeah.
that have to compete against him because, essentially, this biological female now has the hormone profile of a male.
But if you're talking about a 13 or 14-year-old, male to female athlete,
That's when things get different.
is it though?
It is.
Have they gone through puberty? Maybe
Well-
not. Are they taking estrogen blockers? Possibly. If they're in a
It
transition,
might not even be illegal for them to take estrogen blockers in this state. What is it? Some states
I mean,
it is legal, some states it's not.
yeah. I mean, but if that the guy can get testosterone, the same for the flip side should be legal. I mean, should. Who the fuck knows?
My issue is if they change their mind. There's been research on trans male to female that if you leave them alone and they don't transition, a lot of them just become gay and
Yeah.
are happy that they didn't do some sort of hormonal intervention.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's. I mean, that's another thing.
But it's
I'll
who
probably
knows.
get hatred from my community again for saying this, but I was watching a video, read an article that there was a 6-year-old boy in a family. Family had a daughter, a newborn. Obviously the 6-year-old who was an only child was no longer getting the attention, so started identifying as female. When they brought the child to therapy to kind of uncover this a little bit more, he felt that the only reason he was able to get attention from his parents was to be a girl because he now had a little sister. It wasn't because he was actually trans.
That sounds like shit parent.
I think so too. But I think there's definitely instances. But I think there's also a flip side that is true, that there are trans kids.
Yeah.
That know from a young age that they
they're
are
trans.
not
Yeah.
male or female, or they're not the gender that they were given at birth.
But the thing is, there's a difference between accepting them for that and who they are and them competing with what may be biological advantages. Like, there was a situation that happened recently where there was a pro MMA fighter who was trans, openly trans, biological female. They had a good, it was apparently a good fight, and the trans woman was actually in trouble in the first round, and then wound up winning in the second round. And then people came to me about it, and I go, I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
I have zero problem with it. You know why? Because it was all divulged. Like they knew. There was no confusion.
Absolutely.
Like the woman knew what she was doing. Just like I have no problem with anybody doing anything risky. Like I have no problem with skiing is more dangerous than that.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Like there's a lot of shit that people do that are dangerous. I don't have any problem with it. As long as there's no deception. My issue with the Fallon Fox thing was that Fallon Fox didn't tell these women that she was a male for 30 plus years. And it only transitioned for 2 years and said that it was a medical procedure that she didn't have to say that. I say that's nonsense.
I mean, I agree.
But once she did come out and once everybody knew, then the women she competed against after that, no problem at all.
I mean, it's also a slippery slope, right? Because like I feel like a person shouldn't have to come out just to be able to compete.
But they might have an advantage, a physiological advantage of having testosterone running through their body for 30 years, and then they get off of it. They're going to have significant advantages. There's advantages in reaction time. There's advantages in the size of the heart and the lungs.
Bone density.
Yeah, there's a lot of advantages.
I think it's
bone density is a different one though, because in actual studies, they've shown that in certain African American women, that they have a similar bone density to some European males.
Oh.
This is obviously dependent upon physical exert. Like we were talking about, your bone density is probably much higher than most because of the amount of weight you lift. But there's differences in terms of like what part of the world your ancestors are from.
True. I think like the thing that rubs me like what I hate to see is like, you know, take an athlete like Laurel Hubbard, the weightlifter from New Zealand that competed at the Olympics.
Yeah.
I get where people could become upset with that, right?
Yeah.
Like they feel that she had taken an Olympic spot from biological females, yada yada yada. At the end of the day, though, she as an athlete is just following the guidelines set forth by the IOC.
Right.
Is the IOC perfect? Fuck no. But this is what's been laid out as acceptable for trans athletes to compete at this level.
Right. So the hate is going in her way, where maybe people should just take a look at what should we do in terms of regulations.
Exactly.
Do you think there'll be a time where there's enough trans people to have trans leagues? Like, let's think about it this way: if we have like in boxing in the Olympics, we never have males compete against females, right? Because we acknowledge that males have an advantage. We acknowledge that, and we separate them. Would it be possible to have males, females, and trans people? Or is there too small of a population?
I think one, it's a small population, but two, the general acceptance of trans people would have to be a lot higher for trans people to be comfortable enough to come out in the first place.
Well, it's a lot higher now than it's ever been before.
Absolutely.
So wouldn't we think that along
This
with
could be the time.
other acceptance, like the acceptance of gay people, the acceptance of all sorts of other, religious exemptions where you see like the Muslim people wearing the hijab, volleyball, like that, we'll be more tolerant to all sorts of different things in the future.
I think it kind of singles them out in a way.
Yeah, but
Right.
it does make it safe in terms of like biological females being able to compete on a level playing field.
I think, like, honestly, I don't know if there's a right answer.
I think that's a good answer.
Right?
You just
Like,
said,
I
right.
think, because I see both sides of the coin.
Because
Right?
even
Like,
biological females, there's a spectrum.
100%. I mean,
Just
look
like biological males.
at the runner from Africa.
Right, but she's intersex. She's different.
Correct.
She actually has a Y chromosome. It's a different situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she has like double XY,
Yeah.
right?
So she does produce a
Am
certain
I
level
correct
of testosterone.
about that?
I believe so. But I guess, like, the issue is where it's like, okay, like, this woman, who is a biological woman, like, does produce higher levels of testosterone, yes, but now she's being told she has to take a testosterone blocker to be able to compete.
To bring it to a certain level, right?
Yeah. Whereas you look like Michael Phelps was literally praised because he's a physiological anomaly for not producing lactic acid at the same levels of other athletes.
Yeah, when they say that though, you're talking about a guy who's been training at such a high level. How do we not know this is an adaptive measure that his body is taking to deal with the fact that he has this like super high training load and you've seen him train. He's a
Yeah,
fucking
no, he's a
maniac.
beast. And And like I don't know, like again, like I'm, this is just plain devil's advocate. Like Michael Phelps achieved more in his career than I could ever imagine. So not a slight to him, but it's kind of looking at the kind of double standard that's being thrown at these athletes. It's like I said, I don't think there's a right answer. I think either way, people are going to be pissed.
I would like if one day, I mean, with genetic engineering, what they're doing now with CRISPR and all these different weird methods of manipulating genes, that now they're doing CRISPR 2.0, so it keeps getting better and better.
Yeah.
I would envision that sometime within our lifetime, you're literally going to be able to control like no ifs, ands, or buts. Like there's going to be a way to not just have a surgical alteration and intervene with their bodies with hormones, but instead you actually will be transitioning to a woman.
I mean, I think that'd be fucking great. I think like even trans people would want that.
I would hope,
right? Like
if you gave them the option, like if you had like red pill to blue pill, Mobius or Morpheus, if one of them was a pill that made you not want to be trans anymore, made you happy being a biological male, and one of them was a pill that turned you into a woman, an actual woman.
I think
Which one would you take?
I think it would be a high percentage of the trans pill.
It would be nice if you could try it out for a little while. You know?
Can I get a trial size?
Trial period. You know what I mean?
But I think it boils down to like these, trans people at their core feel that they are not in the right bodies.
A lot of them. It's hard to say all of them.
Correct.
With anything.
Correct.
Yeah. A lot of them feel.
But I feel like in that situation, red pill versus blue pill, majority would go towards just being a biological, whatever sex they feel they are.
Yeah, I think so too. And then I think there's probably some of them that like, and this is fine too. There's some of them that like identifying as a woman but keeping their penis.
Yeah.
And having sex with it.
Absolutely.
And this is how they like to live. And that shouldn't be a problem either.
Good for them.
Yeah. When it comes to sports, that's just where things get slippery.
It's such a gray area.
It is.
And even me being a professional athlete and a gay man, like I think what's funny is like people automatically look to me as like, oh, you know everything about this entire situation. I'm like,
Trans is
fuck
very
no,
different.
man. Like, I'm gay. I know
Yeah.
about dudes and dudes.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Well, yeah, it's a different thing, and it's a thing that we're trying to understand, and it varies with person to person.
And I think like we are seeing like great strides in it because more people are feeling comfortable coming out as trans. So there is some actual data to grasp onto now, where we can start to see better trends and understand things a little bit better.
I thought it was funny though when Caitlyn Jenner came out against trans athletes and everybody started hating on her.
She's such a bitch.
Why is she a bitch? But it's because of that or something else?
I think honestly, I feel like she doesn't have any moral ground and she just panders to whoever she thinks is going to listen to her.
It's possible. It's not.
Just being candid.
Yeah.
I may seem like an asshole for saying that, but
she's fairly old too.
yeah,
Right? And like the world was a different place. If your mind formed back when there was like 4 TV channels
yeah.
and you were on the Wheaties box in the 70s, and now you're dealing with the fucking chaos of today's choices and
Oh,
options and
absolutely. I mean,
identities.
I couldn't. I understand she has gone through some crazy shit to be where she's at. I just think she could be going about it a little more tactfully.
Yeah, well, it's also a function of answering a question in a parking lot from TMZ.
Yeah, that's
Don't-
not great.
Don't do that, especially if you're like, "What? What'd you ask me? Yeah, I think there should be compete against girls."
Yeah.
Well, you can't. It's not a good way to answer a question, like especially a question like that, which is a culturally significant question, coming from someone who is genuinely one of the most famous trans people alive.
Yeah,
If not the most, right?
I would say so.
The
Yeah,
most famous trans person alive.
yeah. I mean, you have other people like Laverne Cox, who's known in the actors world and stuff like that. But
I don't know. I know
she's
Caitlyn
she's
Jenner is.
gorgeous. Yeah, Laverne Cox is. I mean, I guess because I'm gay, I
Right.
know who she is.
But I'm sure she's famous, but there's no way she's as famous as Caitlyn Jenner.
Correct,
I gotta think. So when you are stepping to the queen, like that's
Yeah.
what it is. That's the head honcho of the trans world.
And I think
right?
what a lot
or
of
at least the
people.
most famous person.
Yeah, I think a lot of people also have a lot of issue with her because of her experience. Has been so much different from the majority of trans
Oh,
people,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Huge acceptance. Women of the Year immediately. Cover of Vanity Fair.
Like,
ESPN fluff piece.
yeah, they just hand it to her on a silver platter, where that is not the experience of the majority of trans people.
The thing about it is, though, did it help trans people or did it not? Like, what do you think happened?
I think it became really divisive. It still is. You know, I think there's a really big divide of people that are like, this is great, Caitlyn Jenner is in the forefront. You know, she is an out and proud trans woman.
Yeah.
And then there's other people that are like, shut her the fuck up.
Now, what's the general consensus about what's going on right now with Dave Chappelle?
You know, I figured you were going to ask me
Well, I
about
wasn't going to until we started talking about trans athletes and trans this.
Here's my thing, and I may be more open-minded and accepting of all this stuff, but in my experience, Dave's been making fun of everybody for forever.
Including himself.
Oh, he doesn't hold back, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
But did you see the special?
I did.
Did you think he was making fun of trans people, like, in a mean way?
No, I think like overwhelmingly, like the stuff that he says, like I don't think is mean spirited. The thing I have an issue with is when he just says like, yeah, trans people are just funny to me. Like I don't think their experience is funny. I think it's hard. Right? Like I think
Is that one of the quotes that he said? I
I don't know if that was in this one or a previous one, but he, you know, there was one point where he says, you know, like, you know, but at the end of the day, I just think it's fucking funny. And I think like that's honestly out of everything he said, that's the only thing I've ever had an issue with. Because I don't think somebody's struggle is ever funny. Do I think he can make fun of it?
I'll tell
Fuck
you,
yeah.
who's a struggle that's funny? One of them pray the gay away preachers.
Okay, that's funny.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, that's funny. That's really funny. Because
Trying to keep
90%
their
of them are still
boner
jerking off to gay
Yeah.
porn right after they do that.
Exactly. 90. Isn't it 100?
Yeah, you know, so like to be honest, like I really didn't have an issue with what he said, right?
I feel like a lot of people didn't actually watch a special. They just heard that it's transphobic and they heard
Just on it.
the story at the end. I've watched him work it out over a year. We've been touring together.
Yeah.
And the story is about a trans woman who he loved, who was a
Yeah.
very dear friend of his, who he actually had open up for him at one of his shows, and he talks about it, and she defended him, and then she was dragged by the trans community, and she wound up committing suicide. It was devastating to him.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing is like he talks about like how he has gay friends, lesbian friends, trans friends. Like he doesn't care. He loves everybody.
He really does. If you meet him, he's one of the most loving and friendly people.
But
I've
here's
ever
the
met.
thing with Dave Chappelle: if you have a heartbeat, he's probably going to try to make fucking fun of you,
Yeah.
regardless of who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's just like people lose sight of that, right? Like for me, it's comedy, right? Like everybody's free game.
Yeah.
And I
That's
think
my feeling.
if you just take out that one piece of him just saying like trans people are funny, I think to me he changes the context. That's really the only thing I've ever had an issue with what he said.
That is the problem with taking any little tiny snippet of comedy out of context.
Yep.
Because he'll say things and then balance them out. Like he'll say one thing that makes it look like he's making fun of one person and then making fun of himself later. Or he'll make fun of himself first and then he'll make fun of them later. And it's like it's meant to be taken in its entirety.
Yeah,
Because it's a vision into his perspective. Here's the world through my eyes.
I think the thing is too is like the media obviously doesn't help, right? Because just a couple of years ago, here he is defending George Floyd and the George Floyd murder.
Right.
Talk about that, and Fox News is trying to cancel him for that. Now Fox News is praising him for this movement. You know, so I think it's like it just makes it so divisive, and it's just so easy because of what he does. Like it is very in your face, and he doesn't hide that. He doesn't hide behind anything, and he stands up for everything that he says. But I think it's just so easy, like you said, to take 4 minutes out of a 2-hour special and take that for the word that he said.
Well, what's crazy about this special in particular that he's getting heat from is that they're not quoting anything.
No.
There's no one thing where they say he should not have said this. They're just saying his hateful transphobic special. And I'm seeing these people that are just tagging on to that I know haven't listened to it.
In a quarter mile, continue straight onto Vermont 104 South.
Oh.
And they're saying that.
It's funny, like, if you go on YouTube, there's literally like a 25 or 30 minute video of Dave Chappelle's trans jokes.
Is there that many trans
Yeah, it's a pretty long one.
What's the problem is, like, he keeps defending it, right? Like, he
Yeah.
keeps getting attacked. He makes a trans joke, he gets attacked, then he defends it.
Continue straight onto Vermont 104 South.
Trans jokes, then he gets attacked.
Yeah.
And then the last one is like 20 minutes of a story about a trans person.
Yes.
Might want to retire that.
Continue on Vermont 104 South for 2 miles.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point it's low hanging fruit.
But it feels like it's relevant to his life and his experience, unfortunately, because this is a thing he's dealing with, is the being attacked for his bits.
And this for him it's therapy, right? Like that's part of the reason why he does this.
It's also whenever there's a thing that's in the news that becomes like a public subject, he has an obligation to discuss it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a podcast. He does, but he doesn't really do it that often.
Yep.
And he did like a series of it, but this is how he gets his opinions out.
For sure.
He gets it out through his comedy.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, like I said, like at the end of the day, like it is what it is. I didn't take offense to it. You know, it's just that one piece that I just wish wasn't there.
Well said. All right. Unfortunately, I gotta wrap this up. I gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, we've been talking for a long time.
Brother. It's always good to see you.
Thank you, man.
Good luck in your rehab, and I'm telling you, take into account my idea about the bear.
I'm down for it. That'd be fun.
Kill a bear, wear his skin, eat his meat, and wear that skin. Come out with it. You come back, giant bear skin, full length coat.
Beautiful.
All right, Rob. Tell everybody your social media, where all your stuff is.
Yeah, easy enough to find me on Instagram at worlds_strongest_gay. Because of you last time, I bought worldstrongestgay.com. That is the website, so you can find me there.
Beautiful.
And you can also find me on my new business venture, strongmancorporation.com. Anybody, feel free to contact me directly, rkearney@strongmancorporation.com if you're interested in becoming a part of it.
I think it's awesome that you're running that.
Thank you.
I really think it has massive potential too.
I'm super excited.
It just needs the right push.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Bye, everybody. Peace.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
I told you about the cold that I saw.
No, but you didn't. But I heard you talking to Brunella.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. It was giant. He said it was huge. And you were in the truck.
Oh my god, I was scared in the truck.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto St. Albans State Highway.
And it's like a giant pumpkin. It was huge. It's a 170 plus pound cat. Big cat.
I've never seen one.
I've only seen a little one, like a 6 to 7 pound one, run across the street.
Turn left onto St. Albans State Highway.
Santa Barbara, and then one in Colorado I saw in the woods, like a glimpse, quick glimpse. Might even been a bobcat, honestly. The one in Colorado,
Keep right at the fork.
quick. The one in Santa Barbara was definitely a mountain lion. Yeah, but this one was on this.
In half a mile, merge onto I-89 South.
This was 30 yards away, underneath a tree, in like a 7 p.m. light. So it was like just starting to get dark, but I was looking through the binoculars.
That was this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, we were both freaking out. He was so big.
Scratch out.
Oh, his head was so huge. It was a big top, man. Giant paws. His forearms freaked me out. The forearms were like my legs, man. Like big, thick ass forearms. Oh.
Continue on I-89 South for 24 miles.
Yeah. Oh god. Meeting one of those fucking things in the woods would be terrifying. After doing a situation like that? Like, you seen that video where that guy had to shoot that cat?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That was intense.
That's intense.
I know.
Where he's like, no, get out of here, get out of here. And the things are looking at him like, God damn, he hit him. And if he didn't have a gun, what the fuck? I mean, I don't know if he was bow hunting or what kind of hunting that guy was doing.
For sure. I saw that clip. Yeah.
He didn't feel comfortable enough to draw his bow. If he did have a bow, I don't know. Shit.
Those things are so strong. I mean, all animals, like even bear. I mean, you look at bear full rooms.
Oh, massive.
Yeah.
Well, I remember that video, this one video of you in Alberta with that one bear that was shot as it runs. Like, after arrow hits it, it runs. Like,
Oh,
I did not know they could run that fast.
that was 7 yards, and it was that distance.
A second. It was crazy. You know, you think because normally they're kind of rubbery, they're kind of slow. I guess they're conserving energy.
Yeah.
Because when they want to go,
They can explode. They can explode.
it's weird to watch. It's like, because you don't think something that big can move that fast.
No, they're amazing. But those wild animals who, especially cats. I mean, they got to be predators, so they got to kill with their face. As we're talking about. But bear too. Incredible.
It's a wild world out there, Mr.
It is.
Yes, it really is. So you're just back from Colorado.
Yeah.
You've had a wild season. Is this your best season ever? For bow hunting?
No.
You got plenty of meat, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Giving a lot out to friends, huh?
Yeah. No, it's pretty cool because I take I have these 2 coolers at work in the lunchroom, and I just take meat in there, fill up those coolers, and say free meat, and people love it there because there's a lot of people who don't hunt, have no interest in hunting, but they love eating elk. Things they always ask much from sausage. Hamburger, anybody can use hamburger for tacos, spaghetti, so yeah, it goes quick. I love eating it out.
Yeah, hamburger and spaghetti sauce. Ground elk and spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
I had some salami out of stuff that I got in Utah for the first time. It's out there right now. We have the commercial foods fest.
Yeah.
I haven't had it.
So good. Yeah, I did. Pepperoni sticks. Yeah, pepperoni sticks off of Oregon. And the best pepperoni sticks. Normally at the gas station, I buy pepperoni sticks. It's just they still taste good. They're just shit meat. They're probably off the floor. But so you put elk meat or pepperoni made out of elk meat.
Yes,
It's amazing.
It's the best food in the world, man. So what's been happening with you other than hunting? Got any wild races you're about to do?
No,
Are you laying off those for a while?
no, just hunting. That's all I do. It's I don't know. I think what I like, my whole thing is, and you know this well, but I train for one reason, for both. And it's like I feel so lucky to have that purpose because there's all sorts of advantages to working out, being in shape, being capable, and healthy, and everything else. But when you have a purpose, like I have a purpose, and other people have different purposes. But if I see people in the gym, like guys in the gym, they're just training, and I feel not bad, or I don't really know how I feel, but because if the goal is just to be big, or it just is not the same as having a purpose.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm training for one thing, and so right now this is my Super Bowl.
Right,
This
right.
is
Hunting season.
all season. This is what it's for. So yeah, just
Yeah, for a lot of fighters, they have a hard time training after they're done competing.
right.
Like, a lot of them get fat
Yeah.
because they're done, and so they don't have
Yeah.
any reason to train hard.
Yeah.
But some of them just figure out a new way to fight. Like George St. Pierre is in as good a shape as he's ever been.
Yeah.
Because he's essentially like a lifelong martial artist. And so his purpose is always to better himself. And so just to be better than he was before. So like when George took all those years off and then came back and fought Michael Bisping, everybody's like, is he rusty? Well, it turns out he's even better than he was before, which is crazy. said, people always say that. I'm better than I was before. He actually was better. He actually was.
Yeah, well, he looked good against Bisping.
Amazing. Just go ahead and fight this week. Ooh, what a card that is. Jamie, pull up that card. This UFC card this weekend is bananas. There's Rose Namajunas versus Zhang Wei Li, the rematch, which is going to be crazy. Yeah, because Rose head kicked her early in the first round, KO'd her in the first fight. And that lady has the weight of China. Look at this fucking card. Like, pull up the whole card so you can see it, because it's crazy. Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera, that's a really good fight. Shea Burgos versus Billy Quarantillo. Quarantillo? I don't know this. Quarantillo. Yes. Tough to. That's a great fight. Shea Burgos is that motherfucker. Yeah. And Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Holy shit. Yeah. And I think that fight opens up the main card. Yeah, that's the main card first fight, which is nuts. And then the preliminary, Alex Pereira, Cowboy Pereira versus Andreas Nicolaitis. Al Iaquinta versus Bobby Green. That's a crazy fight. Chris Curtis versus Philip Hawes. Edmund Shabazian. I don't know this dude. Listen to that man. Try to help me out. You try me? Yeah, it's him.
I have no idea.
I haven't done my research yet. I'll do my research tonight.
Yeah, I know.
How do you say it, Jamie? Sordine Imavov. And then Leader, which is at the end. Is that all the names? Or is there early names? Sean Vellante. Chris Dustin Jacoby is another motherfucker. He was in the UFC for a while, then he went over to Glory. He had quite a few kickboxing fights. If you're going to be on this Madison Square Garden card, it's a wild card. They always stack. They stack two big cards, well, three big cards every year. One of them is this Madison Square Garden fight, and another one is always the July card. Yeah, it's around July 4th.
Fight, what do they call that? The fans week.
Yeah, the Fan Expo. The UFC Fan Expo. And then, depending upon when they have the card in December, sometimes they have a big New Year's card as well.
So my picks are Chandler.
Chandler over Gaethje. Interesting. It's a good fight.
Colby.
Plenty of friends with Colby.
Yeah. Who's the other one on the main card?
Well, the first one is Chandler versus Gaethje. You have Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Chito.
Oh yeah, right. So I'm gonna go Chandler, Billy, Marlon, Rose.
That main event is a tough fight. It's a tough fight to call. Because Usman is even better. Since beating Colby, you gotta realize he beat Jorge Masvidal twice and Gilbert Burns. Twice. He beat him once by decision and then fucking flatlined him in this last fight.
Colby would say he's got 20 losses.
So Jay Judas?
Yeah.
Well, speaking for Colby. And then Colby just ran right through title. That was a big fight for him. Yeah. So that's I think he's the hardest challenge for Usman. Because he's got the longest gas tank. His gas tank is crazy. Colby has excellent wrestling. And his striking volume is insane. Like both of these guys, one of the things they both have is they never fade. Both these guys never fade.
I was impressed with Usman last time against Colby.
I'm impressed with whoever fucking fight this Pereira.
Well, I figured Colby would put the pressure on and he'd get more gas, but man, he's right there.
He's got amazing moves. His mind is that dude is has serious knee problems. You never hear a thing about him. He can't run. His knees are destroyed. He actually had they do this particular type. We talked about it on the podcast. There's a particular type of procedure they do where they fracture.
Micro fracture. Yeah.
They do it in the cartilage to try to make the cartilage regrow. It didn't work. Had the opposite effect. Fuck, his knees don't work. I get that he would want to do that for the money, but if an MMA fighter wants to fight Canelo, really they should say, come over here, man. That's what they should say.
Boxing against Canelo. Stuff.
Well, Canelo's fighting at the same night.
Yeah.
He's fighting Caleb Plant, which is one of the more interesting fights that's available for Canelo, other than the trilogy, which they don't match with the trilogy. I think this Caleb Plant character is slick. He's a very good chance. He's got a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure, Canelo's the favorite, because if you look at his resume, Canelo has a much better resume in terms of the guys he's beaten. That's where it matters, right? Because Caleb Plant is super skillful, and he's a legit world champion. But he has not faced the level of opposition that Canelo has faced. Doesn't mean he can't win, but Billy Joe Saunders also looked like a world beater before he fought Canelo, and then Canelo crushed his face. Probably tired of him. You ever see the pictures of Billy Joe Saunders' face? Oh my God. And they talk about, it showed an image of his skull, or a skull, and all the areas that were repaired in his face. And there's just plate here,
Really?
here,
After the fight.
his orbital was shattered, his cheekbones were shattered. I think the way the cheekbone connects to the upper jaw was cracked. Look at that. Look at all that shit. Isn't that crazy? So the orbital, see that stuff in the back of his eye?
Yeah.
The bone that's like the shelf that holds the eyeball in got crushed. So they have to go in and they put all these plates underneath where the eyeball sits. And then on the outside, on the upper left side of the eyeball, that's cracked. The lower side's cracked. And then look how the cheekbone's cracked all the way down to the upper jaw. And then the upper jaw on the where the hinge is cracked. I mean, his whole face got fucking caved in.
That's what the boxing is.
Crazy.
Power.
It was also perfect timing. So Canelo has ridiculous power, but his timing was perfect. He caught Billy Joe leaning down. Uppercut him as he's leaning down, so it's the force of him leaning down, along with the force of the uppercut. His face just exploded.
Did that end the fight?
He stopped on the trigger. He knew something was severe on his face.
Yes. Adams.
Yeah, it's crazy fucking sport, man. Canelo, the thing about Canelo is so interesting to me is that Canelo's a big puncher, but he's also really skillful defensively. That's usually not the case. Usually those big punchers, they kind of wade in and they throw bombs, and they're concentrating so hard on connecting with a big shot that they don't have like the sort of defensive skills that like a Floyd Mayweather has. He's the best defensive fighter ever, in my opinion. But when he fought Floyd, I think he had such a hard time hitting Floyd that he realized, like, oh, I gotta develop these kind of skills. And if you see Canelo, like when he fought David Jacobs, and he's fought in the second fight with Triple G too, like he developed these kind of defensive skills that he never had before, and they keep getting better. So now he's like one of the best defensive fighters in the world, and also one of the best offensive fighters in the world. He's amazing.
Yeah, the reason why I brought that up is because Lamar's definitely talking about he just wants to make money fights now.
Yeah,
So,
I get that. What's probably a year away from leaving,
yeah,
right? If you watch him walking downstairs like that, you say, Michael Bisping had both his knees replaced. He wants to retire. Same shit.
yeah, his higher, his highest not replaced his feet.
Yeah, he's a good commentator.
Yeah, it looks good, but I seen him pop it out.
It's hard.
Yeah, so I mean, my point was, if Kamaru starts, I was wondering if he's thinking about like the money. So that what's the saying is the wolf climbing the hill is always hungry from the top of the hill, something like that. So I mean, Colby's still trying to get up there. Kamaru's been up there. You're gonna lose that hunger a little bit.
I don't think so. No. I think at the championship level, like the true champions, and I think Kamaru is like a champion of champions. I think he's in this all-time great category. Like, let's imagine this fight is not taking place just look at what he's done so far and his skill level. I think you got a real argument that he is right now the best powerful fighter in the sport. If you look at what his accomplishments are, one loss ever in his entire mixed martial arts career, has run through everyone in his division, including winning the title over a dominant Tyron Woodley, 5-round rout, just destroyed him. Just beat him pillar to post every round. And then you look at his fights with Masvidal, you look at his fight with Colby, you look at his fight with Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns is a dangerous man. He put him when Gilbert hurt him. He hurt him in the first round. Kamaru recovered and smashed him. Knocked out Masvidal with one punch in the second fight. He's a real argument that he's the best guy in the sport. Yeah, but if you wanted to see him challenged, you would want a guy who's got killer wrestling, that's Colby, amazing gas tank, that's Colby, unstoppable mentality, that's Colby, and a guy who's been in there with him and knows what adjustments to make. You know, I think, you know, when Masvidal took that first fight, he took the first fight on short notice, and he had some good moments in the fight, but ultimately he fell prey to Usman's conditioning. You know, and Usman had said the reason why he was willing to fight me then was because he had a built-in excuse, which is interesting because that would fuck with a man's head. Yeah, you call him a journeyman, you know, that fucks with a guy's head. Like the difference in the accomplishments of the two are very different. Like Masvidal obviously has that giant Ben Askren knockout and beat up Nate Diaz in that fight. And Masvidal's a bad motherfucker and a very clever fighter. He's one of my favorite guys to watch fight because he's so intelligent. Just demolished him. Demolished him. That's what separates like very good fighters from all-time greats.
And he had a full camp that time.
Actually helped less. He's better. But I think Usman's better than he was before. I think he continues to get better, and he's training with Trevor Whitman. Like he moved camps. You know, he used to be down in South Florida, and then he made his way. Yeah, he was originally the Black Zillions, the Black Zillions, the Stanfords. He's now with Trevor Whitman, who's a real striking genius. Trevor Whitman's a brilliant guy.
Yeah. I've always loved what he's done. I mean, because with Gaethje and with Rose.
Yeah. He's got 3 fighters in the main card. That's pretty crazy. That shows you how good Trevor Whitman is.
Yeah.
He also makes the best gloves in the business.
Yeah.
His gloves are fucking fantastic.
Yeah. You've been lobbying for those.
Oh my god, they're so good. Well, not just his gloves, his boxing gloves. I use his gloves to hit the bag. He makes the best shin pads. He makes the best equipment. Like, it's crazy that you got a coach who is also designing equipment. And he was explaining to me that the foam that they use, the foam that most people use, is not necessarily the best foam. It's like the best cost-effective foam.
In 2 miles, take exit 14W for US 2 West toward Burlington.
So he uses like the best top of the food chain, space age technology foam, and like you really feel the difference when you like hit things with his gloves. Like it's better protection for your hands.
Yeah, I know. I've watched some stuff on him. I'm a fan.
He's a wizard. He's a fun guy too. And he has a good relationship, a good rapport with his students, which is so important because he's a good guy to get along with. He's a fun guy. And so like watching him coach these people and seeing 3 top flight fighters in the same card.
It's incredible. I'm pretty intrigued too with the coaching changes for Usman and Colby.
shocked. I mean, who the fuck causes more drama than Kobe? Still
Good
though,
stuff.
that's how he's so popular. It's both.
Take exit 14W.
That's right, which is rare. Like he has incredible skill level. He's as tough as they come, and he talks a lot of shit.
Continue on Main Street for 2 miles.
And most people don't know that he got forced into talking shit. Like the UFC was about to cut him. They didn't like his style. They told him, and so then he fought Damian Maia in Brazil, and then called him a bunch of filthy animals, and said a bunch of crazy shit.
Places are dumb.
Yeah, they went crazy.
Took exception to that.
He went pro wrestling heel, and it changed
It worked.
It changed the trajectory of his career. What people don't know about Colby, what you know about Colby is when you're with him in person, super nice guy.
Oh, he's actually soft spoken.
He's a great guy.
He's had dinner at the house with elk and just polite, soft spoken.
Yeah,
My wife and daughter, everybody's there, just being as nice as can
he's
be.
a gentleman.
That's who he is.
That's the real guy.
Yeah.
This other thing is like a character that he does, which is so fascinating.
It works. I mean, I watched an interview him and DC just did just a couple days ago, and I mean, DC gave him every opportunity. He's like, you ever get tired? You ever sit at home and say, could give it a rest and just be? And he's just like, no. He's like, I'm always. He's something like he's always on, and he's like, DC said, do you respect Usman? I'm like as a fighter. He's like, no. So he wouldn't even. I mean, he's sticking to the script.
Yeah, well, he's got that pro wrestling heel character down. And if he ever decides to leave the UFC and go to pro wrestling, he would have a giant career in pro wrestling if he wanted to. Oh my God! If he decided, if he fought, let's say, whatever happens with his career, but like 5 years from now, if he decides to go to pro wrestling, my God, would that guy have a fucking career over there?
Yeah.
He's talked so much shit.
No, it's good. I can't wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be an amazing fight. There's something about fights in Madison Square Garden too, because that place is the most iconic arena on earth. It really is. There's no place like it.
We were there in 2016, right? Isn't that when Conor won his second belt?
Yep. When he fought Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah.
The champ. And he got mad. He goes, "Where the fuck's me other belt? Where the fuck is me belt?"
Yeah. And we were down there for the Trump.
That's
protest.
right. That's right. We were there right after Trump got elected, and Cam and I went to the gym, and we were leaving the gym, and as we were leaving the gym, apparently a fucking protest had broken out, and we're like, oh, Jesus, we gotta walk through this. And so we had to walk through this protest, and I'll never forget, like, these virtue signaling people screaming and chanting.
It was entertaining. We were joking like this. I'm sure this is really making a difference.
It may not. It's just that people love to hate things. I mean, it really goes back to like the Colby thing, right? People to hate things. And
400 feet, turn left onto College Street. Turn left onto College Street, then turn left onto South William Street.
there's also people that love to hate the people that hate, and so that made them more into Trump than ever before. The thing about Trump is like more people hate him than any president, I think, ever, except for Biden. I think right now Biden's coming close. He's pulling in strong.
For different reasons, though.
Yeah, they more feel bad because he shits his pants and stuff, allegedly. Allegedly, that's what I heard. But I mean, it's clearly got dementia. I'm going out on a limb. People are like, who the fuck are you, a doctor? No.
Listen to him speak.
Yeah.
It's a train wreck every time.
Something really wrong. And it's sad, and it's not fair. It's not fair to him. It's not fair to the country. It's wrong, and it's causing people to lose faith in the Democratic Party, like, for sure. The Democrat Party is in real trouble with that guy at the helm. It's not
Take the next left onto South William Street, then turn right onto Main Street.
right.
But they hated Trump
Yeah.
so much they would take that over Trump.
Yeah, they took that over Trump.
Originally. They didn't, I don't think they thought they could get us back.
They tried to pretend it wasn't, and they got mad at me. Because when I said that I'm not a Trump supporter, I said
Turn right onto Main Street.
I would vote for Trump before I'd vote for Biden. People are like, oh, Joe Rogan's a Trumper. He's a Trumper. I go, that's not what I said. What I said is I would vote for Trump before I'd vote for Biden because Biden is in a process of obvious decay. And if you fucking people can't see that, I don't know what to tell you. You're all a bunch of
Continue on Main Street for half a mile.
weirdos who won't look at things for what they really are because if you say it, then people get mad at you. I'm not worried about saying things that people are going to get mad at. Right. So I'm just going to tell you what's going on. That guy's dying.
Yeah.
He's a fading candle. And you fucking idiots are counting on him to illuminate the way. And it's not going to work. It's not going to work.
I mean, he's representing us. And, like, where was he just in? Where was that?
Yeah, the climate summit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He
mean,
fell asleep.
falling asleep. I mean, so you're just like, wait, I thought this was important. The most important challenge we're facing as a world, and it's so important. You're falling asleep. You're falling asleep. As they're speaking about it, it's like,
It's not good. And then an aide had to come over and wake him up. See that? Somebody knows. Shit. The guy runs over. You never seen it?
No.
Watch. The guy comes running over to him and just survive. Survive.
no. But it's every time he's featured on something, it's a train wreck.
By the way, I would fall asleep with that shit too.
Yeah.
Like,
but,
what do they do? Why does everybody have to meet in person to talk about climate change? Like, what is the whole purpose of that? Meanwhile, Russia and China was like, you go ahead. Like, look up there. Out fucking cold. That would be me too, right next to him. I'd be snoring.
yeah. What about the lady right in front? She's asleep too.
Yep. She's nodding now too. So the guy's like, what happened? Like, huh? What happened? I fell asleep? I just shit. What? Okay, he's like, pay attention.
Come on,
Okay,
yeah,
time
clap.
In 600 feet, turn right onto St. Paul Street.
he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's rubbing his eyes. I mean, it's not fair. The guy's 78 years old, and he's also had major brain surgery. He's had aneurysms, like serious.
Turn right onto St. Paul Street, then your destination will be on the left.
That would have killed a lot of people. He had a widowmaker. It was like one of those things where most of the people that have it don't survive. They have to take the
Your destination is on the left.
skull off and then operate and then sew that bitch back on.
What? But I would. I mean, whatever. But he's our president. You can say like, how much sway does the president have? It seems like quite a bit because you see the way.
Okay.
Continue on College Street for half a mile.
So it's like, why is that bad? If it's good for the country, it seems like, okay, oh, hey, we can do better, we can do this, we can do that. You know, we lost for this reason, we need to step up here. It's like, no, that's not it. They're panicking because they lose power. Which is Biden administration blocked the release of JFK. Yeah, JFK was shot in 1960. Some people that would be fucked are still alive. What that tells me still hiding. Not yet. Hold it. Yeah. Wait another 25 years. It's crazy that they can even justify that. That someone could keep historical information. I want to know that more than I want to know about UFOs. I want to know what did you just do? Yeah. What the fuck did you do, Alex?
Do you want to fucking go? What's happening? I don't understand.
They found it in assassination. And Geraldo Rivera and Dick Gregory played this film on television. That was the first time anybody had ever seen it outside of those photos.
You know what they need to do? They need to give a charge investigation.
The NIH themselves has said that you're lying. And you can see finally he's nervous. Because he's been arrogant and smug. Because he felt he was
Making
protected.
documentaries.
Yeah. Well, now he doesn't feel like that anymore. Like today, and meanwhile he's pretending he lied. He lied and said that they didn't fund it. They did. And Rand Paul's been fucking on his ass the entire time.
For months. This whole time he's been on.
And with all due respect, Senator, you do not know what you are talking about.
I don't know who would watch it, but he had one, right?
It's the most ratioed documentary that's ever been seen on Rotten Tomatoes, I think.
What is
If
that?
you look at like what the critics say versus what the people say,
Yeah.
it's like the people say like it's like 2%.
Good morning. Yeah, I know.
Should be illegal. If you're talking about those things, you should not be sponsored by those things.
Russell Brand actually had a good. I watched a little clip he put together on that.
Yeah.
That was on point.
Russell Brand is one of the best journalists in America. It's crazy.
Is he in America? Or whatever. I mean, but they use the word controversial to get that.
To dismiss me.
Yeah, to get the tone started going that path.
It used to work. All their tactics that they're saying, like dismissing people, calling them a this or that, it used to work. The problem with doing that with me, much censorship, and these corporate entities that control these tech companies, right? These tech companies control a giant part of the discussion in this country. Because if you try to say certain things on YouTube, even if you're an epidemiologist, you're a scientist.
Deplatform doctors.
Yes, they don't give up. They've removed Senate testimony by doctors telling telling congressmen, telling they're all in cahoots. They're all in cahoots with the Democratic Party. They all get their fucking talking points and what's legal and not legal to talk about, and then it goes to mainstream media, to CNN. And all. But what they don't understand is by doing this, they're just
Be like, what the hell are you doing? They're paying our bills. They're paying you.
and you could say a lot of good things about the vaccine. Here's the thing about the vaccine: it's not bad, but we need to be accurate. Like you can't not tell people on, but also show all these people that got COVID and they were vaccinated and they survived and they're okay and maybe they wouldn't have. Show all these people that are older. Show all these people with compromised immune systems.
show your hand.
Show everything.
Show your hand, and then and they've been the general manager there has been pretty good about it. But it's like they say, you know, if OSHA says this or it's a mandate, it's like it's tough.
Yeah, it's wild. I never thought we'd be in a position where an experimental vaccine.
Yeah.
Antibodies.
I know.
Like my antibodies are better than people's antibodies if they get a vaccine. And I can't go places. Like we're gonna be in New York City tomorrow. I can't eat there. We have to go to Jersey. Here's the thing, Cam. When you go to Jersey, we're gonna go to
Very day. Mask over your nose. It's like, are you kidding me? How crazy is this?
well, and also they're cloth, these paper masks. They're nothing. They're not protecting. They're like there's all these gaps in them. Have you ever seen when the doctor blows the vape through the piece of shit? But this doctor made this video on. He put it on YouTube where he those people that make those crazy vapes, like the box vapes. So they take a head that blows crazy smoke.
Oh yeah.
Well, this guy puts various masks.
I had this mask the other day because it was like whatever for the airport, and I had it on. I could barely breathe. I'm like, what the fuck is up with this mask? So it was actually an N95 mask.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, so it was one that probably does something, I guess, if it's fitted right. But that
Offers real protection. Like if you knew that you're gonna wear one of those masks and walk into a plague house, everybody's dying in the plague, you wouldn't wear that fucking cloth paper, whatever the fuck is sticking in your face.
those will work if you were gonna.
Yeah, go to that one because this is the most ridiculous. Look at that, bro. It's coming out the sides. It's coming out everywhere.
That's what I say. You can cough a loogie and it'll stop that.
Watch this. I mean, this is nuts. It does keep it from coming out a little bit from the front. I mean, I think they've done data in terms of like infection rates and people wearing masks or not wearing masks, but it's so hard because so many of these studies are so biased. Like, you can tell that they're saying things because they want to come to a conclusion. Censoring people, you're just making the other side seem like they have a point. Even if they talk nonsense, even if it's like QAnon shit, they're nutty people. You're still making it seem like they have a point. Did you know that there was a bunch of people that went to Dallas Dealey Plaza?
Be careful.
And
You're talking about me.
no, you're not. They went there and they waited for JFK Jr., I guess, to appear. And they're like, any minute now, he's coming any minute now. So these videos, these dorks, guys are like, we need a riot, we need a riot. Oh, they have cues. Cues that make America great again, hats on. Fucking dummies. Well, this is the problem though, it's like, when
Oh,
you...
I saw a shirt, Trump and JFK Jr. See that? It's right there.
religiously cry when they see them. It's like there's just groups of people that find a thing, whatever that thing is, whether it's QAnon or whether it's like Marxism, like whatever it is, they find a thing. They're like mind viruses. People catch a mind virus and then they hang on to it. Like QAnon is like a mind virus.
It's weird how people can be that gullible. You know what I mean?
It is, but then you think about cults.
Yeah.
They get you to chop your balls off.
Yeah, but it's happened for
Adventures, they don't try anything dangerous. They just like stay in their lane and they rot away like that. Because they're just afraid of the risk. And so, because uncertainty makes people scared, when they can find people that will assure them, fake ass bitches out there. I'm becoming less charitable as I've gotten older.
Yeah.
I would have thought as I got older I'd be like more compassionate to some of these people. But now I'm just like, where's the fucking wolves? We need wolves in the streets, taking these dummies out.
Yeah, known people, I guess. You know what I mean? So then I was thinking, I saw this clip the other day, and it was this guy he asked people if they would take $10 million, if people, what could you do? Your life is worth more than $10 million for a day of living. Why do you just wake up and just go through the motions? Why aren't you waking up and putting that value on it and saying you need to make the most of it and appreciating every day you have if it's that valuable to you, if you put it in those terms? And it's
unless something radical happens to you, we feel like it's all going to be taken away. You just can take it for granted. Like those near-death experiences are so profound for people because so many people have something happen, like a cancer scare or maybe a car accident or some kind of near-death experience. Most people's existences, you're doing something all day that you don't want to do.
Yeah.
And you have all this adventure that you do on top of that a lot of people don't. So their existence is this dull drone of doing things, talk shit about your ambitions, and like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Why is he running every day? Why is he working out so much? But the kind of stuff they do for you, that I see it.
Yeah.
I'll read I don't read my comments, but I'll read yours. But that's why they do it. They do it because they feel shit, it's fat and doughy, and you're tired all the time, and you decide, I want to be a beast today. Like, boy, there's a long road, son. You know?
People do it. I mean, I don't know if they turn into beasts, quote unquote, but they lose 100 pounds.
Hey, man.
What happens is, and we talked about this with Goggins the other day, but your body, his was pretty extreme, but your body does adapt to the load you put on it.
Yes.
And they say, instead of, it's not running breaks your body down, running strengthens your body.
Adapt.
Yeah.
And to be able to do things that are difficult, you have to harden your mind, too. That's the most impressive thing about people like you and Goggins and these folks that do these endurance events. It's like, you gotta harden.
In 2 miles, take exit 19.
You know what I mean? Everybody goes, they get all fired up, energized to do something, then that comes to. They might do it for a week.
Like
then
folks who lose weight and then gain it back.
Yeah, I mean, but if you can just continue to put in the work, punch that time clock for a year, your life.
Their life is doing good, and then they get to a point where they've made a lot of improvement, and then they slide right back to the pills again. Like, why? Why you?
In half a mile, take exit 19 towards St. Albans, US 7.
It's so good. Why you? If you do and you fail, the pain of that is difficult to deal with, but that's how you learn, and that's how you continue to go. That's how you continue to move forward. Yeah. Some people just the unknown is so scary for people. That's why people don't like to try new things.
But then you're willing to try it.
Turn right onto Vermont 104 North.
Hard like bow hunting. People who bow hunt know how hard it is, and for you to embrace that, it's just been
Continue for 18 miles.
we'll do that, because it
Yeah.
is so hard.
I don't think people should have an easy life. I don't believe in easy. I don't think it's good for you. Like if I just was like flying around on private jets and fucking eating catered meals and doing nothing hard, who am I? What are you? Like, what is the purpose of life?
I feel, just for me personally, and I don't know why, I'm thinking about it as we are discussing this, but like when I first started hunting, I would have a beat up Toyota 4-wheel drive, not even 4-wheel, 2-wheel drive piece of shit, and I drive it hunting, but I feel like now
People are the people that don't have anything, and so they're just trying hard to get to that thing. But what you're doing is you're trying hard as you can to achieve excellence. Like your focus is on excellence. If your focus, your goal is so lofty, like your goal being your best in the mountains, doing one of the most difficult things I've ever done, bow hunting. Bow hunting in the mountains is one of the most fun. I've done a lot of wild shit. I've fought. I've done a lot hard because these fucking animals have evolved for millions of years to avoid predators. You have to play the wind. You have to be fit enough to get to the top of the mountain. You have to be able to execute a good shot under pressure. And make a good shot, the quickest death possible. And the reason why it has the quickest death possible is because you develop your skills, you develop your accuracy, and your ability to execute under pressure. And it's fucking hard to do. It's really hard to do. And
I mean, you know what my goal is to be. My goal is to be perfect, but even after 33 years, who knows how many arrows, there's still that crunch time decision making. So I had a bull in Utah. It broke his shoulder, and that was debilitating to him, but it wasn't through the lungs, which is what you want for a quick death. So even my decision making in that crunch time moment where you get one chance wasn't perfect. I screwed up. Luckily, he went screaming.
yeah. And you got to figure out what to do.
Yeah, and that's what I've always said. You can master archery. I mean, people they shoot perfect 300s, and people who don't know, I've never done it. I don't even know anything about target, but I know that they shoot you and an animal, and it's imperfect. I mean, man's imperfect, hunting's imperfect, and it's just you'll never master it.
That's why it's so important to always be at your best. And that's the challenge of it all. The challenge of it all is that, like, you know what that feeling is like when you get a fish, like, oh, I got him,
You
I
feel it
got
on
him,
the
I got
line.
him.
You feel its life. Like
Yeah.
it's tugging on that line.
But it's so exciting.
Yeah,
The
it
reason
is.
why it's so exciting is there's a part of our ancient memory that recognizes that the difference between life and death is whether or not you get that fish.
In the house, hardly any meat on those things. Once like a 10-inch cutthroat, and you're picking through bones and you're eating it, but you're eating what you caught.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
There's a satisfaction to that. That was my first experience with, any kind of them, and they're not as valuable to us nutrition wise. Like when you see a fish, like that is a meal. When I see an elk, like that's my year's meat.
Oh man.
That's my meat for a year.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what I mean. I think
Yeah, they're a majestic creature. And people will, why'd you kill them? Listen, the death from a hunter is the best death that animal has ever gotten. They're not going to get a better death. That death is going to be quicker than any wolf or death.
Yeah.
Or he's going to get taken out by a cat or by some other animal.
Yeah.
That's what happens to them.
Yeah. They can consume less. 700, 800 pound bull. That's a lot of grass it's got to eat, right?
Yeah.
You can imagine how. So you know what you eat and how many calories. Slowly, he's wasting away and getting weaker and weaker over months, over days, over years, whatever amount of time, and then it's like he can't do it anymore.
We saw a really old cow elk in California this year. It was sad.
I think about. I mean, I have compassion for animals. I mean, the killing part is So you think about that animal, what it's going through. So say a cat's in the area, the herd spooks. That I don't know. As you said, there's no more merciful deaths.
It's kind of amazing that humans made it as long as we did. We're so weak. Compared to animals, I mean, we're smart enough to figure out weapons, which is really what did it for us. More tough than what the fuck we are.
Yeah.
Like Bill Gates, Bill Gates' body.
Well,
Now imagine.
I know, but I even think about, they say the U.S. is number one in the world in COVID deaths. And I think about
We're number one. As scared as me? We should be the same scared? That doesn't seem to make sense.
yeah,
They want you to do what they do, but they don't want to do what you do.
yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to tell you what to do.
There was a fucking ad. I forget about being healthy.
Right.
Don't worry about the fact that 78% of the people that get hospitalized for COVID are obese.
Yeah.
78%. Don't worry about that. What you need to do is just take the shot. How about both?
It's so strange. Yeah, can you be in good shape? Is that what's wrong with
How
that?
about insufficient in vitamin D? Most of the country.
And you
More
can
than
take that
70%.
supplement.
Easy.
Yeah.
They're tiny.
Yeah.
A child
I take
can
them.
swallow.
I take them.
Yeah, take them every day. Amazing
Yeah.
how healthy you are. It's a funny thing that people that are like yourself.
They say that there's the things you can't control is time, working out, and all these things.
You don't even need a fucking gym. All right, I can. If you want to, you go. Oh, well, I can't afford a gym. I could fuck you up with a workout with no gym.
Carry my rock.
Hard because these fucking animals have evolved for millions of years to avoid predators. You have to play the wind. You have to be fit enough to get to the top of the mountain. You have to be able to execute a good shot under pressure. And make a good shot. The quickest death possible, and the reason why it has the quickest death possible is because you develop your skills, you develop your accuracy, and your ability to execute under pressure. And it's fucking hard to do. It's really hard to do. And
I mean, you know what my goal is. My goal is to be perfect, but even after 33 years, who knows how many arrows, there's still that crunch time decision making. So I had a bull in Utah. It broke his shoulder, and that was debilitating to him. But it wasn't through the lungs, which is what you want for a quick death. So even my decision making in that crunch time moment where you get one chance wasn't perfect. I screwed up. Luckily, he went screaming.
yeah. And you got to figure out what to do.
Yeah, and that's what I've always said. You can master archery. I mean, people they shoot perfect 300s, and people who don't know, I've never done it. I don't even know anything about target, but I know that they shoot you and that animal as an imperfect. I mean, man's imperfect, hunting's imperfect, and it's just you'll never master it.
That's why it's so important to always be at your best. And that's the challenge of it all. The challenge of it all is that, like, you know what that feeling is like when you get a fish, like, oh, I got him,
You feel it
I
on the
got
line.
him.
You feel its life. Like
Yeah.
it's tugging on that line.
But it's so exciting.
Yeah,
The
it
reason
is.
why it's so exciting is there's a part of our ancient memory that recognizes that the difference between life and death is whether or not you get that fish.
In the house, hardly any meat on those things. Once like a 10-inch cutthroat, and you're picking through bones and you're eating it, but you're eating what you caught.
Yeah.
That was the thing.
There's a satisfaction to that. That was my first experience with, any kind of them. And they're not as valuable to us nutrition wise. Like when you see a fish, like that is a meal. When I see an elk, like that's my year's meat.
Oh man.
That's my meat for a year.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what I mean. I think.
Yeah, they're a majestic creature. And people will, would you kill them? Listen, the death from a hunter is the best death that animal has ever gotten. They're not going to get a better death. That death is going to be quicker than any wolf or death.
Yeah.
Or he's going to get taken out. by a cat or by some other animal.
Yeah.
That's what happens to them.
Yeah, they can, consume less, 700, 800 pound bull. That's a lot of grass it's got to eat, right?
Yeah.
You can imagine so you know what you eat and how many calories. Slowly, he's wasting away and getting weaker and weaker over months, over days, over years, whatever amount of time. And then it's like he can't do it anymore.
We saw a really old cow elk in California this year. It was sad.
I have compassion for animals. The killing part is the part that I don't enjoy. But so you think about that animal, what it's going through. So say a cat's in the area, the herd spooks. That I don't know. As you said, there's no more merciful deaths.
It's kind of amazing that humans made it as long as we did. We're so weak compared to animals. I mean, we're smart enough to figure out weapons, which is really what did it for us. More tough than what the fuck we are.
Yeah.
Like Bill Gates, Bill Gates' body.
Well,
Now imagine.
I know, but I even think about, they say the U.S. is number one in the world in COVID deaths. And I think about,
We're number one. As scared as me? We should be the same scared? That doesn't seem to make sense.
yeah,
They want you to do what they do, but they don't want to do what you do.
yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to tell you what to do.
There was a fucking ad. I forget about being healthy.
Right.
Don't worry about the fact that 78% of the people that get hospitalized for COVID are obese.
Yeah.
78%. Don't worry about that. What you need to do is just take the shot. How about both?
It's so strange. Yeah, can you be in good shape? Is that what's wrong with
How
that?
about insufficient in vitamin D? Most of the country.
And you
More
can
than
take that
70%.
supplement.
Easy.
Yeah.
They're tiny.
Yeah.
A child
I take
can
them.
swallow.
I take them.
Yeah, take them every day. Amazing
Yeah.
how healthy you are. It's a funny thing that people that are like yourself.
They say that there's the things you can't control is time, working out, and all these things.
You don't even need a fucking gym. All right, I can. If you want to, if you go, oh, well, I can't afford a gym. I could fuck you up with a workout with no gym.
Carry my rock.
Still there?
No.
Someone
I
steal it?
don't know what happened to it. Somebody rolled it off the mountain or something. But then,
Someone stole it.
yeah, and then Under Armour sent me another rock that's only 70 pounds. So I have it there still. But even carrying that 70-pound rock on your shoulder,
Yeah.
that shit is hard.
I do workouts and stuff where they show, like purposely, like you don't really need much equipment. You just need something you can grab a hold of. You find a tree branch that's sufficient, jump up, grab a hold of that bitch, you can get some chin-ups in.
Oh yeah.
You don't need
Done a
much.
burpee? Have you done?
Yeah, it's hard,
Do about 100 things weird.
but they're necessary. I mean, it can help you, but you can get a great workout without it.
But nothing helps me more than getting up before everybody else is up. Not everybody else, but 4 in the morning and running. Nothing helps me more.
You have to always keep going, and that's what people have a hard time with. They have a hard time with consistency. They get enthusiastic like this is it. I'm gonna quit cookies and no more cupcakes, and I'm gonna get my shit together. And they might do it for a day. They might do it for a week. Can you do it for a year? Again or again? That's what's important. Because when you're an expert at something, like you can get lazy being an expert. You're already like a lot of fighters have done that. Where they get to a point where they believe they're so good. Like Mike Tyson in his prime, so good it doesn't feel like he has to train.
So here's a struggle that I even face because there's so many people who will say, you should take a day off. You should get some rest. Sleep is important. There's always this like to do less. And so then I don't know, is it
I think they're right, and I think a lot of them they're trying to give you good advice. They're worried you're gonna have a heart attack or die.
why are they worried about me?
Well, because they see a guy like you that's you're putting out so much more effort than them. They don't think it's possible. There's
I
no
love
days
that.
off.
I mean Christmas.
Yeah, no Christmas.
Yeah. And it's like if they did go hard, the next day it's not an off day. They just go a little lighter.
It's just technique,
Yeah.
but they're training still.
Yeah.
sauna. It's not fun to do the ice bath. When I do it, I got your ice bath.
So terrible. But I've never felt better.
It's great.
I mean, it was.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think I did a minute and a half the first time, and I was fucking.
No, my wife was like, go down. I think it's something like go down to your neck or over your shoulders, and then I was like, then.
Yeah, isn't it wild? You just get accustomed to it. Yeah.
It's but it's never quite like you go sit in the hot tub and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go sit in the hot tub. It's fun. It's fun all the time. It's fun every.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Orchard Street.
It's fun. Or whatever. It was always about where my hip.
Isn't that wild? Yeah. Yeah, it's cool.
Continue on Orchard Street for 3/4 of a mile.
Anti-inflammatory properties. It's cold shock proteins. Wim Hof talks about that. He talks about how ice baths are a cure for depression because you feel like shit, but you get in that ice bath. When you get out of there, you feel fucking great.
Get out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now
No.
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Main Street, Vermont Route 108 Northwest.
Remember those things? You open the door and all the fucking
Yeah.
smoke comes.
Take the next left onto Main Street, Vermont Route 108 Northwest.
Oh, it's like minus 200.
250. Minus 250. And so she got out. She's like, "Oh, that was amazing!" And she's like, starts rattling into this to experience that
Continue for 5 miles.
rush. Yeah. She was like, "Oh," it's like she'd always been a fan of the sauna, and she had done that a lot. But like the ice, cryotherapy had been a new thing. But I think 3 minutes is rougher, and then 3 minutes. The guy who used to run, I was like, "Let me see how long you can take it." And I probably would have stayed in longer, but my legs were shaking so bad. I started getting nervous.
Ice bath.
No, it's a different feeling. The ice bath, like you ever,
Right. It's the breathing.
yeah,
It's like, so I think I do, and they say even just breathing deep is good for you. Like outside of, I never do that, but you have to do it in that ice bath. But like, in through my nose and out, I can do like,
that's what I say.
but you did like 20,
I
right?
did 20. I think it was a little more than 20. I did 20 one day, yeah, and it was not good.
I don't know how hard it was. When I saw that video of you doing that, I'm like, whatever. Then
If I was gonna die, I would have died right afterwards. I would have died at night. Done them nice and warm. Like I didn't have hypothermia, but you could get hypothermia because they say 34 degrees for 15 minutes induces hypothermia, but I didn't get hypothermia. But I was at 34 degrees. What it definitely does is it heats your aura, right? So if you watch the video of me doing it, I'll go like this. So while I'm doing that, I'm breathing out, I'm tightening up my abs, my core, next day. And when I hit 3 minutes, my vision was shaky.
Really?
Yeah, I was like looking at like I had a phone set up so I could see the timer, and my vision was shaky. And I was like, I better get out of this. Because if I black out this fucking thing and die, no one's in the ice bath. And then I get into the sauna, and the juxtaposition of sauna to ice bath, like the change in temperature is so extreme. Because I'm going from 33, 34 degrees to 185 degrees.
Yeah.
And when your body close my eyes, it's like, oh, it's almost overwhelming. Like I'm dizzy, like I'm drunk, like I'm having bed spins almost with my eyes closed.
But you feel good after all of it.
Oh my god, you feel amazing. Everything feels incredible.
I wish everybody could. Yeah, I mean, it's.
Like, I'm nothing. I'm skin and bones. But I think you can do it. My little daughter did. She did a fucking minute.
Really?
Yeah.
She cold.
Freeze it! Freeze it! But it's fun. They get a kick out of it. They think it's fun. But it's building resilience. And things like ice bath, even though it seems so easy, it's only a minute, how hard is a minute? But it teaches them.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Vermont 118 South.
It's like you can endure things, and when it's over, I did it. I didn't want to.
Anytime I live, like it's to fail.
Right.
To failure. I mean, or
Continue on Vermont 118 South for 5 miles.
those.
That's a different kind of failure because it's still a success. Because you got the reps in before failure.
Yeah, I'm
so it makes you like no one. It's not like no one is perfect at the thing that they like to do right away. So you have to figure out how you feel like shit, and then it may motivate you to work harder, or you may just sulk and eat cake and blame the world. It's up to you. But the feeling of a negative feedback, especially if it's something that you can control, like if you see a guy who's a person felt the sting of loss, but they kept pushing.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I even think about with Courtney Walter, her first 100, she had to quit. When you do hard things, there's always a risk of failure. I mean, but it's, I don't know.
Well, the risk of failure used to be connected to survival rather, like doing things and accomplishing them. That's why your genes carried on. Person who is like this powerful individual, and I think there's something in genes that passes on into children. I don't think it's as simple as like nurture. I think nature has some weird factor in it, like this like intensity of like trying to get better at things. Like she does backflips in the house. We gotta stop her. Like, hey, stop! It's time to eat dinner. She's like, one more, one more. It's like she won't stop. That is me. But mine was from not getting at it. So it transferred some. I'm assuming that I wouldn't have had the kind of crazy drive I had if I had a great childhood. I'm assuming that. I might be wrong. Maybe it is somehow or another. Right. But I gotta think of like my own motivations when I was younger. Like I always wanted to be someone special because I didn't feel special. Right. So I realized when I started fighting that I was good at this. I was like, oh my god, I'm not a loser. Like, here's a thing that makes me
Your parents had nothing to do with that.
zero. Right. They never saw me fight once. It's crazy.
Yeah, I think, huh, that's interesting. I mean, that's how it was for me with bowling. Well, first with sports, I played football and things like that. But then after that, then it's nothing.
I feel so terrible for children that never get good at a thing, never feel that the struggle and reward upon success.
But also, there's a fine line there because now we celebrate mediocre, being mediocre.
Right, that's successful people. There's a lot of that where they don't think that that's important, or they don't have that attribute. They don't have even the possibility of it, so they get angry at it. This is a very confusing time for a lot of people, and the reality of the lessons of life are that they're hard won. They're hard to live as campaigns for a day, and you have a schedule in front of you. This is what you got to do. You gotta get up. Like today, you're gonna run 16 miles in the morning, and then you run 10 during lunch, and then you're gonna shoot your bow, and then you're gonna lift every day. This is every day, and you're working all day. You don't even get to sleep. You have to work 8 hours a day. What?
Yeah.
Right, but there's one of you, right? Like there's one bow hunter who has 1 million followers on Instagram. It's you. And how did you get that way? You got that way because what you're doing is truly exceptional. It's undeniable. It's undeniably unique. That's not in most people's gas tank. It's not. Most people don't have the ability. Haters, the crabs in the bucket that are
In a quarter mile, your destination will be on the right.
people down that are successful. They're there for us. They're all lessons for us. The people who come up short, they're lessons for us. The people who make excuses, hate on other people, and talk shit about people behind their back, and then aren't to their face, they're there for us. They're lessons. That feeling that you get when you're around someone who comes up like who like puts in less effort than they should, who makes excuses, and you